Hi all, welcome back. In this episode, we will see what is a service, what are the different properties or attributes of service in details. Okay. Yes, we have seen so far pod deployment, right? In this, we will see the service. So, what is purpose of service? Okay, pod is created. Okay, pod is running. Pod get IP address, name, host name, everything. Okay, but all are temporary. Sorry, all are temporary as well as internal only. So pod IP cannot be accessed from the external client. Okay, so that's why we are creating service. Service is also kind of resource like deployment object. It is not a process. Okay, yes, no, it is process because of service associated with IP address and port number. Okay, like pod service also associated with IP address, host name or domain name, whatever you call, then port number. It exposes actually. Okay, so service also have the four stuff. One is API version, kind, metadata, spec. Okay. So as I said, pod is ephemeral. The sense what in the life cycle, pod will started, it will be running, it may be terminated or it may be failed. Again, the new pod may be that it started, or else in the case of rolling update, yes, rolling update, whatever existing pod will be stopped one after another, the new pod will be created, right? Or in the case of rolling update, also the same things. Okay, so if you are doing a rollback of a particular revision, that time also current pod will be deleted and a new pod will be created. So that is what pod is ephemeral by nature itself. Okay, so but as it is dynamic in the name or IP address, the client cannot be depend on particular IP address or host name to reach the pod. Okay, so that's why we are creating services in this. We can services is a permanent IP address. Okay, at least it provide the permanent IP address. Sorry, permanent IP address and the DNS name. Okay, the DNS name, domain names. Okay, then I'll go to later. Expose the pod. Okay, the purpose of the service is expose the pod. In the service also we will say selector label selectors. Okay, so based on that it will identify what are the services it has to be exposed by the service. The thing is, one negative or important thing is what is now, each pod should have its own services. Let me repeat, each pod should have its own services. One services cannot be different pod. Okay, let's say we have same set of pod, that means replica set. All the replica set can be exposed by single service, but variety of pod, let's say one is HR management system pod, another one is payroll management system pod. So within the payroll we may have 10, within the HR systems we may have 5 number of replicas. All those 5 replicas can be exposed by single service. Similarly, all the 10 services of the payment role can be exposed by the single service. But for each service, for each pod we can have we have to create one services. That's why it can be reached by the load balancer. Yes, of course it is load balanced. I'll tell you about the types. Okay, so to provide the loose coupling and among the dependent pods. Okay, so that is the benefit of service. Okay, then services has 4 types. I'll tell you what is the benefit. There can be many types, but importantly 3 types are important. Okay, one is cluster IP, that is default one. Another one is node port. Okay, which is node port which is built on top of cluster IP. The third one is load balancer. Okay, the third one is load balancer. Fourth one is headless service. I will tell you that headless services will not have IP address. Okay. Load balancer is built on top of node port. I will tell you what is the difference between them. So as I said, it's a default types. Okay, it makes service reachable within the cluster. That is what internal client only can reach. So I have created a cluster IP typed services. So my internal IP, through internal IP only I can reach internal customer. That means I have to get into the cluster, then only I can access that service. That is what internal. Okay, in the internals node port, whereas node port we can be, the external client can be accessed, but it has to be, each node IP has to have one port has to be opened, each node, not for pod, each node, cluster level I am saying. Okay, so each node has it can be accessed with node IP. So I should expose my node IP as well as port number, so it is not safe, but external client can be reachable. So the node port type services is good for doing some POC, okay, not for the protection purpose. For doing POC, immediately I want to execute something, I want to test something, then I can go for node port IP. Okay, it has a range of port. Okay, the higher number of port, you can see that. So this many ports only can be associated with each node of a cluster. So enable directly external client, in fact. Okay, external client can talk to the node and the port. So that's how through the node port it reaches the pod. Okay, then load balancer. Yes, load balancer is a good one. It is again built on top of node IP. Okay, it is allowing direct communicate. Load balancer, through load balancer. Okay, but load balancer, if our cluster running in any public cloud like GCP, okay, so the public load balancer is created or associated with this type of services. So it will have the public IP address. Through the public IP address we can reach the pod. Okay, these are the three types. Then headless. Okay, headless type is it will not have IP, the cluster IP is none. That is what. Okay, rest everything same. Okay, again for a particular port. So clients are want to communicate with the particular pod. So in that case, headless services are used. Okay. For example, master pod of any database. Let's say I am running Elasticsearch. In the Elasticsearch, whenever I send the command, it should always reach the or any API call. It should always reach the master copy of database or Elasticsearch, something like that. So in that case, headless IP can be useful. Headless services does not have IP address. Okay. So these are the type of services. The type of service is very important. Okay. So in the protection case, we will create mostly internal services. That internal services will be accessed through the ingress. I'll tell you about what is ingress in the next episode. Thank you. Thanks for watching.